You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 392 of Podketeers. This week, a couple of us were able to watch Spider-Man No Way Home, and we give our initial thoughts, which turned into a conversation about how the idea of the multiverse adds so many possibilities and which characters we'd like to see in a film next. Then we cap off the episode talking about some of our can't-miss traditions when heading to the parks during the holiday season. We'd love to hear some of your can't-miss traditions when you're in the parks for the holidays. You can join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Just search for Podketeers. But we'd like to invite you to join our growing community over on Discord. You can find an invite to join in the blog post for this episode at podketeers.com/392. Before we kick things off, we'd like to take a moment to thank a very special group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers after show, and access to our monthly happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. Alright, let's get this thing started. So whether you're celebrating the holidays with friends, family, or you've decided that you just want to stay home and binge watch holiday movies, we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Happy holidays. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe, everyone. Here is episode 392 of Podketeers.
Wait, Larry, what voice were you trying to do?
Oh, Mr. Evil. I
Dr.
couldn't get
Evil.
it.
Oh, you have to do the Lauren Michaels
That's
voice.
the Lauren. I can't get that.
$100 million. I've taken him. I'm out of practice, but yeah. Okay, Larry. So what we gotta do?
I feel like in order to do it, though, you almost have to point the
You
pinky
have to hold your
because
pinky.
it helps with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't point the pinky, you don't get into the mindset. Like, you don't become
Yeah.
the character.
Frau.
Try it with the pinky, Larry. See what happens.
I can't. I just Scotty. Isn't that his son's name? Scotty.
Scott. Yeah.
See, you got it. You got it.
Oh, there. That's the one. Oh man.
We call it the Alan Parsons Project.
Freaking laser. I can't.
Sharks with frickin' laser beams on their frickin' heads. Yeah, I don't know. I'm slipping out of it. Anyway. Welcome to the Austin Powers podcast.
Woo!
We are so diverse.
Every week, it's a different podcast.
Yep.
Right.
Well, happy Christmas week, everyone.
Yeah, Christmas. My entire room here is just full of Christmas bags, and everything's getting wrapped, and it's a madhouse in here. So
I love it. Yeah, it's been a little crazy this holiday season. You guys know, obviously, we've talked a lot off air about everything that's been going on, and the FGP Squad knows some of that stuff because we've talked about it on previous calls, and but we're coming to the end of the year. We're looking forward to next year. But, as we're closing out the year, we were talking about some of the things that we love to do in the parks and some of our traditions. Last week we talked about some of our favorite movies. So we're going to be talking about that later on in the episode. But I can't not talk about the biggest thing that everyone's talking about. Because after months of speculation, we're not going to talk about anything that happens, obviously, in the film, but we're talking about Spider-Man here. Finally released, Spider-Man No Way Home. I had the opportunity to go watch this at the drive-in, and I didn't think that we were going to have an opportunity to watch it because in our area, all movie theaters were either sold out or the dates were like super late in the year. And I kept thinking to myself, it's going to get spoiled because TikTok exists and Instagram stories exist. And I really feared that was going to happen. And for good, reason, because even after watching it, I've been watching TikToks and Instagram stories where people are posting really pivotal scenes. Like they're just recording
Wow.
straight out in the movie theater. So beware. If you don't want this film to be spoiled, do your best to stay off social media as much as possible, because there are some key moments in the movie that are being spoiled on these services. Are they being pulled down? I don't think so. And if they are, they're being very slow to remove them. So beware if you are interested in any way of watching it and having it not, spoiled for you. But I have to say, this movie, mwah, chef's kiss over and over again. It is a phenomenal... It is a love letter to Spider-Man fans. It's one of the best ways I can put it. There is so much heart in this film. There's an evolution of Peter Parker that I think is really going to carry us into the next phase of the MCU. And obviously, Doctor Strange, I think, is going to play a pivotal role in Multiverse of Madness going forward. So I hate to say it because there's a lot of characters that I really, really enjoy in the MCU. Doctor Strange, believe it or not, is actually one of my wife's favorite characters in the MCU. Like top 3, as a matter of fact. I like Doctor Strange because, magic and everything. Like, whoosh, super dope, right?
Right.
But I don't think I was excited about Multiverse of Madness the same way that other people were excited about it. Like, I wanted to watch it, but I wasn't like, oh my God, it's coming! And I have to tell you that after watching No Way Home, I am definitely in, oh my God, it's coming mode.
Welcome to the club of being excited.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were excited for Multiverse of Madness, right?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I was a little. I'm a very big chicken, and I don't like scary movies. And everybody's like, "It's Marvel's first horror movie," and da 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 da. But I think I'm excited for it. I've been, just like almost any Marvel movie, I'm excited for. Especially when these ones that still connect back to the the original phases. I guess the Infinity Saga.
Yeah,
it's like come on, like a warm blanket. It's like, I know these people, and what are they up to now?
yeah.
Checking in with my friends.
I agree. It's funny because I think some of the other films, like if you take the Iron Man trilogy and the Thor trilogy and what they've built up with Guardians, I feel like we got story progression in each one of those, but watching this film, Tom Holland's performance, like I could see what they were building up to for this third film, right? And like it's so hard to talk about it without giving away so much. I'll say that this one, for the end of the trilogy, I think adds so much more to the Peter Parker character in the MCU. And what he's been able to offer since Infinity War. They built on that, and it's so good. I regret not being able to watch it again. Oh, so back to being able to watch it. So let me tell you what happened. So we're trying to get tickets, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the tickets are sold out. We're like weeks out, and I'm thinking like, oh no, this is going to get ruined for me. Like, what am I going to do? And so we had this brilliant idea to go watch it at the drive-in. The only problem with drive-ins is that I don't know how it works in other states or in other counties, but all the ones that are close to us, we have 2 or 3 that are fairly close to us, within like a 30-minute driving, distance. None of them offer pre-sales. Like, you just have to show up and you just have to line up, and if you get in, you get in. Whatever spot you get is whatever spot that you get. And so the idea was, we're going to grab some food. We're going to try to head out there about an hour and a half before the first showing, because then if we're in line, we're at least guaranteed a fairly decent spot, right? So this was
Right.
the Saturday right after it was released. So we're a couple days in at this point, and we're thinking it's going to be super packed. What we didn't take into consideration was that with so many movie theaters reopening or open for this one, a lot of people want the experience inside of the theater, right? Which is something that we were missing for Black Widow. We were missing it for Shang-Chi. I guess not Eternals, because Eternals was released in movie theaters, but we were missing it for like Jungle Cruise and all sorts of stuff, right? So the idea of going back to this Marvel film at the movie, something that's been so hyped and, you know, people have been looking forward to this for so long, I get it. So we're taking like games with us, and we're taking like extra battery packs and everything so that we could spend 2 hours or whatever waiting if we had to, camping out. So the first showing was at 7:30. The next one was at like 8:30. And so we figured, okay, different screens. If we don't make it for the 7:30 show, we'll definitely make it for the 8:30 show. We get there. We were like 5th or 6th in line.
Nice.
And I'm wondering, like, oh man, did they start letting people in? And this was after we went to get food. Like, we decided to just quickly go to McDonald's, grab some food so that we can eat there. And if anyone's trying to be a little safer about it, the idea was we'll get food so we don't have to go to the concession stand or anything like that, and we don't have to get out and everything. So we get in, and we get this like prime spot, 5 or 6 lanes up. We were on the little incline, and so we had our niece with us, and she was in the very back of the car, and we all had like a center view of the screen away
Nice.
from us, right? I have to say that when you go to the drive-in, obviously, you're missing the darkness of the movie theater. And so depending on how much ambient light is around you, it can affect certain scenes, especially the blacks with the projector aren't as rich as they would be like on a high-definition screen or IMAX or anything like that. So there were a couple of scenes that I think were just a little difficult to view. Especially when cars would randomly turn their lights on or something because they were turning on their cars or whatever. But other than that, it's not like the old school drive-ins where you pop a little machine on the side of your door or anything. You turn on the FM radio, and it was clear, man. Like, it came through. We had all the windows closed. We blasted that thing, and we felt the movie. Like, we didn't watch it. We felt it the whole way
Nice.
through. It was amazing.
Cool.
We were just in awe at the experience. Like, my kids were like, we gotta do this again. We gotta totally do this again. Like, they loved it. Obviously, as kids do, they left a total mess in my car. But hey, they enjoyed it. We saw the film. Great experience. I don't know how it works at other drive-ins, but at the one that we went to, it's called the Mission Tiki Inn in Montclair, California. If you go for a film and it's a double feature, you can stay for the second film that's there. And so they were playing Spider-Man twice, and we almost stayed for the second one, but it's, you know, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours-ish. We couldn't stay. It was going to be too late between the time that the second one started and ended, and I don't think the kids would have been able to hang. So ultimately, we ended up opting out of the second one. But we're planning on going back to watch it again now because we loved it, and so we want to be able to do the whole thing again. I want to talk so much more about it.
You will soon.
Yeah. Soon.
Write everything down if you have to.
Oh, I won't have to. It's all in the noggin right now. It's all there. We're ready. Okay, we're ready. And look, obviously, it's a very popular film, right? It had this record-breaking weekend. Box office debut is now the second highest in history. It took the place of Infinity War. It grossed like $260 million across like 4,300 plus theaters. Oh, Andrew, when you were watching the film, did people cheer?
Not a peep out of anybody.
How dare they?
There was no peeps, no hoops, no hollers, no anything. So, you know, there was definitely some points where I was nudging Tina, my wife. I was nudging her and like, that was that. Or, that was that. Oh, did you see that guy? Oh, that guy. So, but nope. I mean, our theater we were in, I just saw it 45 minutes ago. So or just
Hot
got
off
out
the
of there.
Yep.
So it's real fresh. But yeah, we were in a smaller theater. It's not the huge one. We were 100 seats or whatever's in there, and yeah, it was it was probably like 80 people in there or something. It was mostly full, and it was pretty quiet like through the whole thing, which was surprising. I think being not opening weekend, it's more just to like more of the casual viewers, as opposed to the diehard people. So yeah, but it's still a good experience. Like the movie was great. Yeah, we definitely need to talk about this. I'm definitely gonna need to see it again. I'm probably gonna watch some YouTube videos on people explaining the whole plot to me and everything I missed, because there's definitely some points where I'm like, what does that mean, or what is that character, or who is that silhouette or something that we see. There's definitely some like stuff that me not being too versed in Marvel in the back catalog and like the comics and stuff, that I'm not going to know all of the the minutia references of what they put in there, but what seemed like to be a lot in there.
And that's the fun about those films, is like you're watching something, something's on the far end, and you're like, I can't see that. I need to focus here, not over there. So yeah,
I'm
I
like,
totally get it.
What's that in the background? That's got to be something, right? Oh no, it's just a bug on the projector.
And
lens.
then you're afraid to turn around or something.
I did. We were watching it, and that was probably about an hour in. All the lights came on in the theater. I was like, "What is going on?" And like somebody ran out, and then they clicked off. So it was just like somebody must have bumped a switch or something. I don't know. It was
That's lame.
very strange.
That's a team player who ran out.
It was only for like 2 minutes. It was like there's no flashing lights, there's no fire alarm, so I'm just gonna watch this movie and hopefully everything's fine. And then it was. So
That's lame, dude.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. Like it didn't screw up the picture or anything. So which was nice. They didn't. None of the
that's
lights
good.
shined on the screen. So it was luckily in like a not too like intense part that it wasn't like as big of a deal.
Oh, that's
But
good.
yeah, it was just interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving really anything away, because I think a lot of this is already in the trailers that they've released. But if you want to tie it into Earth 616, which is the current Marvel timeline, a lot of
No,
this
it's not.
story...
Isn't it not? Isn't it Earth 9999 whatever majigger?
It is, but usually stories in the MCU are inspired by things in 616.
Okay.
And so this particular story is inspired by the comic One More Day. And in
Okay.
One More Day,
I see where you're getting at.
Spider-Man was trying to get everyone to forget who he was, but they show Doctor Strange trying to do this spell and everything, but in One More Day, he goes to Mephisto. And so it's based on that one, just the way that a lot of WandaVision was based on House of M. It's not a direct copy, obviously, because Marvel hasn't been able to use a lot of the characters in ways that they wanted. They haven't been able to tell the stories from the very beginning because, Fox had the rights to some, Universal had the rights to others, and, with the Fox merger, we've all been itching to see the mutants come into the MCU, and, I mean, hopefully we begin to see that fairly soon. How they get introduced, I don't know, and when, but... knowing that they take inspiration from all of these stories, I mean, part of the reason I'm so excited for Multiverse of Madness is because if you've seen What If almost serves as a guide of where Multiverse of Madness can go. So that's what's exciting about it. Like, not even tying it to Spider-Man. Like, if you just watch What If, now kind of knowing more about Doctor Strange and his episode and kind of where everything led, I'm just way more excited about it. So I can't wait. Like, I don't know. For people that were worried about what the next phase of the MCU was going to look like, I'm not worried at all. Yeah, we had beloved characters and everything in the last phase and everything, but oof, I'm so excited about where we're going now with it.
Definitely going to be like a interesting ride with. I mean, I haven't seen Eternals yet, so I don't know. The backlash from that film, I don't have any reference points on, but everything else seems to be characters that they're pulling into giving them expanding their stories and stuff like that. So it's exciting to see all of these different things, and everybody I'm excited to see Eternals. I just don't know if I'm going to get the chance anytime soon before it goes on Disney Plus. I don't know when that's going to be, but anyway, the next couple of phases seem to be built out well. It's going to be exciting.
So I know we were all real big fans of like the 90s X-Men and stuff like that. I know that Disney Plus is rebooting that. If you could choose one character from old properties, the old X-Men cartoon or something, that you would want the MCU to introduce next, who would that be? Whether it was like an old Fox film or whatever, or one franchise or whatever you want to call it, who would you want to see come into the MCU next? Kevin Feige's like, hey, I'm giving you billions of dollars to write this next film. What are you writing?
That's a tough one because there's so many.
I mean, I never watched the X-Men. I haven't seen an X-Men movie. I haven't watched the X-Men cartoon. So I'm not too versed in the X-Men. But the one X-Men I know, because one day I went in a rabbit hole of searching. This is probably like 15 years ago. What are the strangest superheroes and comic book characters? And so one that's always stuck with me, which would be an interesting film I don't think would ever get made, would be Arm Fall Off Boy. Do you have everybody know Arm Fall Off Boy?
I have no idea who that is.
Arm Fall Off Boy made like 3 panels in an X-Men comic once where they were like, okay, all the mutants show up and show us what you got, and maybe you could be part of the X-Men. And his superpower was he could detach his arm and like beat people with it like a club, and then like put it back on. And that was the extent of Arm Fall Off Boy in that comic, from what I understand. So yeah. That, or maybe we go and do the Pet Avengers. Those? Well, we talked about them before.
Okay, well, look, I think you just presented Kevin Feige with 2 like multi-billion-dollar franchises.
I know, coming 2026
On Disney Plus.
Arm Fall Off Boy, the series on Disney Plus.
6-episode story arc. Here we come.
5 seasons of Arm Fall Off Boy.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I just can't imagine somebody ripping off their arm and beating somebody over their head with it.
Yeah,
and then, like popping
like,
their arm
pop
back
it back
on.
in. Yeah.
It almost seems like, did you ever have those old action figures where you could like pull the arms and legs off?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Like, I feel like that's how we would play with them. We'd like use the arms or legs as a club on another like action figure or something.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to apparently, I looked this up. I wanted to make sure I was looking up the right thing. And apparently that's a DC comic. So I screwed it up.
Outta here.
I thought it was a Marvel.
Sounded like trash.
could-
Woo, shots fired.
I could have swore it was a X-Men thing, but I guess I was incorrect. So
Take that to Suicide Squad.
yeah, he's part of the Suicide Squad. Who's gonna play Arm Fall Off Boy in the Suicide Squad? It's gonna be I don't know.
Oh man. Well, hey, look. Even if it was a DC comic, historically speaking, there actually have been DC and Marvel crossovers. They all happen on crossover Earth. There's been some pretty famous ones, DC versus Marvel. There's been some really great comics that have come from the crossovers. But if we were ever going to see Oh, I guess that would be like a really good one going forward. There was a Superman versus Spider-Man crossover at one point. Huh. Interesting.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I know you're listening, buddy. This Superman versus Amazing Spider-Man thing, let's talk, okay? Just shoot me a message. I know you're busy with the holidays and everything, but, shoot me a text, buddy. We'll hash this out. Anyway, just
Okay,
a message for Kev.
I found one to a Marvel one.
A character.
This is iBoy.
Hi, boy.
iBoy is covered in eyes, and that's
Ew.
it.
Oh,
He just has a bunch of eyes, and that's it.
His superpower is that he's a 360 camera.
Pretty much. That's what it seems like.
Technology.
So anyway, that's my screw up for the night. But anyway, iBoy, arm fall off boy.
you know what? We learned something new today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people learned.
Mm-hmm.
But was it
Learned
really
about
a screw up?
DC and
Was it
Marvel.
really?
Yeah, it was fun.
Or an opportunity born?
Yeah.
Well,
There
you
you
know
go.
what? Bring in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're Marvel now.
All right, Larry, let's move on to you. Who would you want to bring in if Kevin Feige came to you and said, Larry, I'm going to give you $2 million to write the next Marvel film? Who are you bringing in?
Well, I mean, the X-Men are probably the cat. Well, they're already talking about Fantastic Four, so X-Men is where everybody wants that to come back. So for me, I don't want you to. I love Wolverine, but you can't touch that because of what they've already done with like Wolverine films. But I'm really thinking though here, and I liked Beast, great character. I think though the big characters people miss are like Storm, Gambit, and then you have Rogue. Those are the characters that you hear and you're like, gosh, I want those back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and Cyclops. No, don't leave out Cyclops. So we'll talk about iBoy. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's that. It'd be hard for me to see a new, different Wolverine than the good actor that he was before, and the way they did the movie Logan was pretty beautiful movie, if you ask me. I know it sounds weird to be a man and say that about
Dude, Logan
a
was
cartoon
dope.
movie, but if you watched it, oh my god, that is definitely one of the most tear-jerky movies I've watched in a long time. That's technically based off a comic book, loosely, I would say, but sort of there.
Yeah, Logan's a great character. I love what they did with it. I think of all the Wolverine films, arguably it's the best one.
I won't argue that. That one. I still get chills talking about that movie.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Fantastic.
Just good. Just a very good movie. There's a good movie to throw on the after the Christmas holiday.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Mel, what about you?
You know what? I'm gonna bring it down to Beast. I mean, I think it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, let's say we got a 6, episode type of thing that kind of follows him, and then he kind of brings in other people. I just would love to see him and Bruce Banner just work together and do something. You're welcome.
Yes.
You are welcome. That's all I want to see.
Oh my God. The Adventures of Hank and Bruce.
Yeah.
They both wear glasses. Not
Oh my God, that would be so good. Okay.
They both turn super smart too, which is
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Really
Are you sure you don't want Asbestos Lady?
Is that another like legit
That's-
character?
Here we go.
Yes, Asbestos Lady. Anyway, sorry. I'm
I
on
love
a
this.
weird list.
I don't know what she's gonna bring to the table in this one, but I mean, the Adventures of Hank and Bruce seems
And
like the
Asbestos
next
Lady.
Disney Plus like TV series with a film at the end. I'm for this. You know what? I'm upping yours to like 3.5 million.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Get going on
5
this.
million.
I'm gonna
Better
take some
cast really
creative.
well.
Yeah. I'm taking the lead on this one. Kev, don't worry. We got this one. Yeah, you're right, Larry. There's so many great characters, and a lot of the ones that you named, I think, are really at the top of our list. Like Gambit, I think, from the X-Men. Personally, one of my favorite because his weapon of choice was always playing cards, and I just thought that was super freaking cool.
So cool.
And when the Channing Tatum version got announced, everybody was like, it's coming, and I got so excited, and then that never happened.
Yeah,
So I
crazy.
would love to see a Gambit movie. But honestly, the next character that I just would love to see get revisited is Ghost Rider. Like, I think Ghost
Ooh,
Rider has
yeah.
so much to offer, and with everything happening in the cosmos right now, everything with the Eternals and everything kind of like with the multiverse happening, I feel like it's a really great time, and not the Robbie Reyes version of Ghost Rider. Like, I want them to go all the way back to Johnny Blaze and go back to the motorcycle and everything, and just I would love to see Ghost Rider in the MCU. Like,
I don't
so
think
for
Nicolas
this.
Cage is doing anything. He just do the
No,
the
let him
same
go
thing we
back
did
and
with
film National Treasure.
Spider-Man.
No, no,
Spider-Man.
no,
No.
no, no.
No.
Ghost
no.
Ghost
Talk
Rider
about
and the
casting.
multiverse of hell. I don't know.
It's a great character because a lot of these Marvel characters coming out, you talk about What If and what we're seeing now, think about Hawkeye too, like these conflicting stories about getting a different view, and Ghost Rider is a very good character at having a conflicting story with a different backstory, like view. So I would hope that too. That'd be awesome.
Well, I can't raise the funds on my own project because
Okay.
it's gonna raise some eyebrows or something. So
Yeah, I got you.
I'll talk to
I'll
Kev. I
give you
can raise
6
I can
mil-
raise all of yours. I
$6
just can't raise
million
my
for
own.
you, Heyzen, but on the caveat that Nicolas Cage has to be in the movie at
Oh,
some point.
Well, I guess we're not getting
Oh.
$6 million then.
At some point, he doesn't have to be Ghost Rider.
Well,
he
we
just has to
just
be in the
lost
film.
funding because that casting isn't going to happen on my dime. I mean, these are characters we would love to see in the MCU, obviously, but if there's any that you would love to see, we'd love for you to join the conversation over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or even better, join us on our Discord. If you're not part of the Discord family, just head on over to the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/392. You'll see the Discord invite there. Just click on it, and you'll be able to sign up within a couple of seconds. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what characters you'd love to see come up next. So we're going to talk a little bit about stuff we love in the parks, but before we do, I do want to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, or as we like to call them, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible, and episodes of Quizneyland. Last week, we released the latest episode of Quizneyland. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to do so. It's on the Podketeers feed, so you don't have to sign up for anything else. Just find it in the Podketeers feed on your favorite podcasting app. But being a part of the FGP Squad family does get you some additional perks, access to our monthly happy hour calls, additional content, whether it's the Podketeers After Show or anything that we've uploaded to our Patreon is available once you sign up. You also have random giveaways, exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, first access to new releases, and much more. So if you have any questions about becoming a part of the FGP Squad, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you out with any questions that you may have. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. And we've gotten some notes on Discord that some of the members of the FGP Squad have started to get their holiday gift. We've been getting some really great feedback. I'm so happy that you're enjoying them. Thank you so much. Again, if you have any other questions about becoming a member of the FGP Squad, hit us up. We'll be happy to help you out with that.
Okay, I found another one.
us.
Dr. Bong.
What?
What?
Dr. Bong is a big bell-looking guy. He looks like a bell. His head is shaped like a bell, and his fists are like the little dingly part in the bell.
All right, all of
And
you
his
get your
name-
head out of the gutter. We know what you were
Doc-
thinking.
Oh,
Dr.
wow.
Bong.
Yeah, not the bong part. Folks.
Yeah, come on.
I was gonna
Think
say
of
this. We kind of have
bong,
people.
that bong,
younger
not
people
Ding
listening.
dong. Yeah, come
yes,
on.
that bong. Get out of there.
I'm on page 22 of a 73-page thing, and it just gets better and better and
But
better.
are these like all fan
616.
fiction?
No,
or-
this is
Oh,
all
Earth
of, this is
616.
on Marvel.com/
Lester Verde.
characters.
I've just
What?
confirmed this too.
Oh,
This is
please
crazy.
send me this link.
Marvel.com/characters.
Oh, please send me this link.
I will. You can, look at great Let's see. Characters like Foggy Nelson.
He just
I don't
seems
know.
like the guy
That's
you
just
want
a
to buy
guy.
like tires from,
Oh yeah, Foggy Nelson, or
windshield wiper fluid from.
yeah. I like how in this list, like it's in alphabetical order, and it goes like here, like Freezer Burn, Frenchie, Frey, Freya, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like I didn't know that that's his full given name, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, that's how it appears on
he
his
has
birth
to
certificate.
He has
so
to
I
sign
get
that on all his checks when he goes to the bank. As Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
What a pain.
It's on his passport and everything.
Also, apparently there's a Galactus and a Galactus.
Yes. Yeah.
Spelled two different ways.
Yeah.
I
I don't know.
Go.
This deserves its own
This
episode.
should just be an episode where I list every name of there's 1, 2, let's see, how many Ghost Riders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
a
6
lot.
Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, 6. And anyway, we're going to talk about Christmas and not Glob or Gloom or Gog or Go-Go Tamago or Bill Foster.
Well, Go-Go is from Big Hero 6.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just made the connection.
Yeah. Anyhow, you're right. Let's move on to Christmas.
Christmas.
So we wanted to talk about some of the things that we like to do during the holidays, if we have any traditions, or if there's anything that we specifically feel we have to do during the holidays. Obviously, getting a picture with the Christmas tree on Main Street is one of them. Getting a photo of the castle, all lit up is something that I've always liked to do. So things like that. So who wants to kick it off with some of the things that you like to do during the holidays?
Sure, I'll go.
Go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
start from. Are we gonna go 3? Let's do 3. Is that cool?
I don't know if I have like 3. I can try
Just
to find 3.
All right.
Do what
Or
you
put
got,
them in
Larry.
order from 3, 2, 1. I guess that's
Right.
a better way to say it.
That's where I'm going from.
There you
All
go.
right. Okay. All right.
So I got 3 here, and my number 3, which has been a little bit of a downer for me this year. Maybe somebody out there could let me know a difference that I may have been missing is getting the peppermint patties from the candy store on Main Street or at DCA's store off of the main area of Buena Vista Street, and just eating them there on the holiday time and just chilling at somewhere in the park and getting the nice SoCal brisk air. That's kind of one of my favorite things to do during the holiday. It kind of adds that, like everyone's into the peppermint spirit at that time, peppermint mocha, peppermint candy canes, peppermint everything. Peppermint. No, just kidding. But that is one of my favorite traditions. This year, the times I've went, they haven't had them in stock, which is kind of a bummer. But I still have been, getting the Andes mints and cheating that way. That's one way to go around it.
I don't think I've ever heard of the peppermint patties until you text us.
Word.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
How was I? What? How did I not know?
So good. It's to explain to you a little bit more, listener, everyone. It's literally like a big round shaped chocolate York patty, but figure inch thick. That
Oh
thick.
my gosh.
What?
And then the chocolate is a very thin layer. So when you bite it, it's like boom, like nasal passages open up. You feel Christmas spirit like hit through instantly through your like what is that, like your nasal cavity into your ears. All of those feelings just kick in, and any water tastes like amazing. I don't know about you, it just tastes fresher.
Oh,
when you're
I like
eating
that.
peppermint. So that's kind of like where it's at, but yeah.
Nice.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I know. So I've had this discussion with several people. I think I had it with Gavin on more than one occasion because he's a big fan of the mint chocolate chip ice cream. And I'm not. I'm not a huge fan of mint a lot of stuff, which is weird because I love like Altoids and stuff. But like if I ate like a York peppermint patty and I ate like a small one, I'd be like, cool, I'm good for the year. But something that big, I don't know. Like something must have hurt me at some point in my life because I feel like I'm biting into like a big tub of Vicks. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying like something must have hurt me at some point in my life because that's how it feels like to eat something that much. But I know people love it. Like I I want to. Maybe I should try it again. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I just have some like weird memory or trauma, and that's what's preventing
No,
me
it's
from
strong.
doing it.
It's an acquired taste, I'll admit, when it comes to that much. Like, that's going hardcore. I'm like a hardcore peppermint guy. And sometimes I'll eat half and the other half I'll throw in the freezer or like fridge for home, and then I'll eat it like that. So it's like,
Oh
you're
wow!
really going in on it.
You want to hear something weird though? Like I get the York peppermint patty thing. Like I'm not a big fan, but I love the candy canes. I don't know. But
No, it's close.
It's just
Just
so
taste.
weird.
Yeah, preference.
I don't know. I'm weird. I'm sure a lot of people are listening. They're like, "What? How dare you?" But I don't know. I am weird. I don't know. I'm telling you, something hurt me at some point in my life, and I was like, "Nope, not again."
Would that be Marvel's 500 character, the Peppermint Monster?
Could have
Or
been
Peppermint Man?
Peppermint Man. That's what did it to me. He done me wrong,
Peppermint
man.
fall off boy.
Oh, it's funny. All right, Mel. What about you?
So my number 3 is actually writing Small World Holiday.
Oh.
And I feel like that's why I was so bummed that it was closed when we had went. But there's something special about going on it and then seeing the next year before you leave, knowing it's the end of the year. Like for me, it's always been something to do, but I have to wait until next year.
Yeah.
But that's definitely my number 3. And this was hard. Man, I have like so many. I'm like, I had to cut it down to 3.
I guess we can throw out honorable mentions later, because at first I know I said I don't have 3, but like I just put myself back in the park, and I just had
Yep.
this like
Yep.
memory
Good
bank
flash.
accessed. So all right, yeah, that's a great one, fantastic one. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, I don't. I've only done this like once or twice I can think of. I have good memories of it, of just walking from that. You guys reminded me of it earlier. Walking just in that Grizzly River Trail when they turn the snow on, and it's just at night and the snow's going and stuff, and it smells like all Christmassy and stuff, and it's just that little area of the park right when they do the snow and everything is fantastic.
Nice. My kids love that area too. That's where Santa is.
Yeah.
Santa.
It's a peaceful little area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially at night. It's real quiet because people aren't going on
Exactly.
Grizzly, and it's just it's kind of just chill.
I like how the lights are lanterns. It really does. You talk about theming in that area near the Grizzly. They're lantern style. So it's kind of that cool wilderness vibe that you want, like in you seen the Christmas movies, like logging cabins and stuff. You're getting that vibe right there, and there is a little smell of pine every once in a while when that water hits the trees. Good, so that's like another little bonus too.
Yeah, and then that bear's on a big sweater. I don't want to
I-
step on anybody's toes if that's one of their
lights
favorite
up,
things.
too.
But got a
It
big
does.
sweater.
Ultimate
It's the big sweater's
ugly
cool.
sweater.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's super festive. Let's see. Oh man, if I have to give a number 3 spot, like I feel like I'm pretty locked into like my 1 and 2. But choosing 3, I guess since I complained about it for 5 minutes, I'm gonna make it my number 3. Getting the peppermint stick, like the fresh made candy cane. It's difficult to get sometimes because you have to stand in line. They were giving out bracelets at one point. This year, I think it's been a little bit more difficult because of COVID restrictions and everything. But after getting it the first year, like my wife stood in line to get it for us the very first time that we did it, and now it's just something that any time that we've been able to get it, I just want it. It's like that fresh peppermint. Again, I don't know what it is about the peppermint patty that I'm like, no way, no how. But like the candy cane, I'm all over it for some reason.
Like
So-
a candy cane is like you can like parse it out a little more. You just like a couple little licks. You don't just like chomp down onto a big,
Well,
glob
normally,
of it in your mouth.
maybe. I mean, normally what I like to do is I just like to break it and then just like pop it in like a mint,
Yeah.
basically, and just kind of let it dissolve over time. So I don't know. I guess it does remind me of Altoids, but
How big are those? Like, they always look so big when
They're
you see
big,
them in
they're
pictures.
they're
right?
very big. Yeah, they're
like compare it, like action figure big?
No,
or...
no. I mean, I would say they're, I don't know, maybe about an inch thick in like roundness, and
Wow.
just under a foot.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, they're pretty large, but they're they're $20 something, but I mean, totally worth it, I think.
Yep.
So
Sounds worth it.
yeah, I mean, if you ever get a chance to get it, Larry, I think you'd be in heaven with it.
That's my goal. They've always done the weekdays, and I'm like, oh, and I get it right now, especially right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
But that's always been one of my goals, is to get one at least to see what it's all about. I'm a peppermint guy, but not a huge candy cane fan. But for that, like what you just explained, it'd be nice to just crash it or
Yeah.
throw one in the mouth and be like, yeah, I got one.
And you know what the great thing about it is? Like, I think one of the reasons I like it is because it's not like super hard. It's like airy and nice, and it's
Wow.
I don't know how to describe it, man. It's like it's Christmas, dude.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is.
That's all I can
That's
say.
what we're talking
It's
about.
Christmas, man. All right, kick us off with number 2, man.
So number 2 for me is it's something that I don't know, like a lot of people necessarily take advantage of. When it was at Disneyland, it became my thing because they used to have it over at I'll do a quick honorable mention real fast in there. They used to have it over by the Thunder Ranch area. If you guys remember, they had the animals out there back at Disneyland back in the day. I missed the reindeer. That's my honorable mention. They used to have reindeer back there back in the day, which was cool. That was a holiday tradition where I'd go over there to do decorating Mickey snowman cookies. And they offer this still, but it is at DCA, kind of like what Heyzen was talking about a little earlier, talking about things that you do with the family. Over at DCA side, is this part is in the Santa's holiday visit, which is really the Redwood Creek Trail. And that's usually the one where you would see the characters from Up there if you were going during regular times. But during this time, it's like Santa's area, like his workshop, meadowy, kind of cool elves take over the area. But specifically right now, I think it's on the part after they have a treats for Santa section, and it's like a little booth, and you just buy out this little kit in a box, and then it comes with red and green icing and a couple of like cool little candy dots, and you could go to town and just sit down. I usually do it in that little area. I'll stay in that area, or I'll maybe find another spot in the park just to decorate it where I feel comfortable. It kind of comes this like little family thing. The cool thing about doing it there is sometimes like they'll have like characters pop out and like wave and like be happy about it and point at what you're doing. That was kind of the cool thing too, because you felt like a kid again, like, oh, someone's looking at my art. But last but not least is making it and then just causing the catastrophe of Christmas, as you guys like watching explosions and big bad things happening, chomping the head of Mickey Santa. So, and having the payoff of your art taste good as well. So that's usually my for sure second.
Oh man,
Nice.
that sounds just like an awesome experience. Definitely something that we've never had an opportunity to do. But I mean, for the Christmas, like the spirit of it, I totally would want to do that with the boys. I know that they would love that. Super cool. All right, Mel, number 2.
Okay. We're going to Main Street, and we're going to stop at Gibson Girl, and we're going to get some peppermint ice cream. I don't care that it's 50 degrees. It doesn't melt, and it tastes wonderful.
I'm just
Like
gonna
that-
piggyback on yours. Mine's not. My number 2 is the same thing. So we
Nice.
can
Oh,
just kinda- yeah,
nice.
it's
Nice.
the same thing.
I get you on the whole 50 degrees thing because earlier today it was fairly cold. And, as Californians, it doesn't take much for us to be like, oh my God, it's freezing, right? We get below
Right.
80 and we're like, oh, it's sweater weather.
Right? Where's the blanket?
Yeah. But it was super cold earlier, and I did have ice cream with Reese's peanut butter cups inside of it. So I get you on that one.
Nice.
It was. I had to go to the DMV this morning, and I went out to my truck, and it was 29 degrees.
Oh boy,
my
no.
truck, and everything was frozen. Yeah, it was very cold.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I
It-
know, I'm like shaking already. I'm like,
It
oh, no.
snowed at my house last week.
Did it really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that
it
common?
was- No, we're a little low for snow, but we got a dusting and like woke up and there was a little bit of snow. So, yeah, it was yeah. I think I got it on the security camera, so at least I could see when it snowed overnight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you go outside and make snow something?
No, I was gonna make a snowman, but then I had to go to work, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this really quick on top of the car because that's where all the snow was because the cars are cold. And I was like, oh no, this is too cold. I'm going to work. so there was just a snowball on my roof of the other car that just sat there for the day.
Oh, that's
till
funny.
it melted. But yeah, I was gonna, and then it was too cold.
Oh man. Yeah, I get the whole ice cream when it's super cold thing. I don't know if it's just a California thing, but yeah, we
Maybe.
complain about how cold it is, but we're out getting ice cream.
Right.
You know
That
that
totally
pepper-
tracks,
yeah.
right?
And that peppermint ice cream, you get it in the sundae with like the waffle
Yes.
bowl and everything with the whipped
Gotta go
cream.
in.
Oh, it's good. It's nice and pink. Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. I feel like I need to give it a fair chance again.
Give it
One
get
day.
the whole sundae. Get the whole kit to caboodle.
Yeah. I'll have to try to work something out one of these days. It's probably gonna be a while, but one
Or
of these
just
days.
buy it from
Maybe
the
next
grocery
year.
store. It's
Maybe
just
next
like
year.
There you go.
it's just what it's who is it Dryers who does
I think it's dryers.
No,
Dryers or Briars?
Doesn't matter. It's
One
not
of
the
them.
same. It's not as
Oh,
magical.
it's not. Right.
But now that I think about it, maybe I'll see if they have that at the store. Anyway,
I'm sure they
I
do.
tried that.
I'm sure they do.
I wasn't happy.
Look, honestly, it could be the exact same brand, but it's not there, and you're not spending $18 on it. So how can it taste the same? Right?
Yep.
Okay, so my number 2, it's going to surprise you because I think most people would have thought this was going to be in the number 1 spot, but it's writing Haunted Mansion Holiday. I love the Haunted Mansion, and I love when it's not Haunted Mansion Holiday. I still have a beef that it gets converted before Halloween because that should happen after Halloween, and then it should just stick around an extra month or something. But, at me. I don't care. But Haunted Mansion Holiday is going to be my number 2. Like, I feel like the holiday season culminates with me just the same way that it culminates for you writing It's a Small World, Mel. Like, I feel that's how it culminates for me with Haunted Mansion Holiday. So my number
Nice.
2 is Writing the Mansion.
I always think that I always talk about too, which we've had a great conversation on, is the smell that you get when you go to the gingerbread area. That was tough for not to be put in my top 3. Is that section because I wait for that every year during Christmas. I know you're right. During Halloween, I don't think about it as much. It's weird to like shut my brain off to. I'm like, I'm gonna hit this spot, but once Christmas rolls over, I'm like swiffing it in like as much as I can because I just need that in my life during that time. That's when it does feel like Christmas. That's crazy, just weird.
It's just one day, too. Like, you go October 31st, it's like, what's wrong with the mansion? November 1st, it's fair game, man.
Right, that's right. Bring on the snow.
Right? All right.
Oh wow, it's Christmas vacation vibes.
Number 1 spot, Larry.
For number 1, it's gonna sound maybe kind of corny, or maybe kind of nostalgic to some, I hope, as much as me. It's walking down Main Street, USA Disneyland, but away from the castle. I know some people love the castle. It is the jewel of the park, and it looks really nice lit up, especially now the LEDs they have. But for me, it's walking the other way with the garland draped over everything on the stores, and now I'm glad that they've bring back the wreath garland above that connects like kind of like you're walking under this nice little tunnel. And then the tree, I feel Christmas, this large tree, where you're gonna see a tree like that. People have that. I know we're not on the East Coast and we can't go see the tree that everyone talks about in the main center, right? So what I closest I could get to it is seeing this tree in Main Street, USA. And now the music sometimes could be a little bit too slow and kind of weird, but for Christmas, but it really is lights. I'm always been pulled into it, and when I go there, I always feel once I hit that moment, and it's nicer when it's a little cold, and maybe I get some ice cream to make it colder. So peppermint ice cream, right? But that's my number one. That's what definitely sets the tone for the holidays for me.
Nice. So you mentioned the music. Would you say that you like DCA soundtrack for Christmas a little bit more, or would you find them pretty much equal?
I would say DCA Walking into Buena Vista is almost a tenfold better. That's like a night and day. That's a sad part because I grew up with the songs that they play there, like in the background. All those songs are nostalgic to the music. So when I go through there, they have Wreath and Garland. They do a really good job with Carthay Circle. They do, and there's a large tree there too. But I feel the compactness of it's like boom, you hit one thing and boom, you hit the next thing. Like it's like it all happens really fast. So when you're going down Main Street, it's a little bit different. It's like it takes you in, especially with, like I talked about, the garland hanging and the lights. And then just that feeling of like that forced perspective works a lot better there, right? Because you got the tree now. You got a big old tree. So it really, the music, if they could switch them, that would be, I don't even want them to switch. I just want them to play the same music on both sides.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be cool, but I get it. Main Street has been doing that for years, and that's kind of their vibe on that side.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. You make a lot of really great points. I think that if they were able to integrate some of the music from DCA over into the Main Street soundtrack, I think it would hit on a totally different level.
Oh yeah.
So much. So,
But it's not period correct, man.
I get it.
Turn of
I
the
get it.
century
Yeah.
versus the 20s. Come on, they didn't have big band in. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe they give us like a day where they swap the music or something. They have backwards
maybe
day.
they could have did that for the party. They
Oh,
should've
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did. They should have did that for the. That may have been a pull for me. I've been like, yeah, I'd love to see that music played on Main Street.
Oh, it's just all Muppet music. That would be even better.
That's even.
Oh.
See, well, we're giving ideas away now. Dang it.
It's not unheard of. What you're saying is not unheard of. They do it for the Halloween stuff. They
The Halloween
completely
parties,
switch up
yeah.
the music and they have the
Jazz
different
track.
soundtracks. So, okay, yeah. All right, Mel.
Yeah, Main Street. It's
Number one.
Oof. Well, it's not Mansion. And I'll explain why. It's because for me, it's like that's kind of like a shoe-in for me. Like it's always going to happen. So 2 words for number one. Viva Navidad.
Oh, yeah.
I have to do this. And it's since debut year, like, just thinking about it, it's like the energy is so good. So good. Even from our past trip, the dancers and everything, just the music, it's just a party. So I love the nostalgia that Main Street does, that it has for us, but there's something different when you're in a crowd and people are dancing and you hear everything, like everyone celebrating, and it's just, I want to just party with people a lot.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I love it. That's a great choice. And it's on my list. I think when we do honorable mentions in the next round, I'll mention that and where I think I slated it. But that's a great pick, Mel.
Thanks.
Andrew.
oh, there we go. Number one. Does your heart hold the magic of the holidays? Believe in holiday magic. You can't beat it. Watch it from anywhere in the park. Watch it from New Orleans Square. Watch it from Small World Castle. It's a great show either way. The music's great. It's I've got just the parts, the whole thing memorized in my head. My favorite parts. It's probably my favorite thing in. One of my favorite things in Christmas is just that soundtrack is ingrained in my brain, and I don't know why, but it is. It's there, and it's fantastic.
Because it's special, and it's one of the greatest things that's ever been around. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Can you remember how Christmas makes you feel?
And then the snow machines go like...
Oh yeah, the sound of the smoke machines, right?
Could smell it.
I no drum roll needed because that is my number one pick as well.
Yep.
You can't beat it, man. I held so many special memories of standing on Main Street with my wife when we first started dating, watching this, this fireworks show, and being there, watching it for the first time with my kids, and I don't know. There's so much that fireworks show single-handedly is the reason why I love the holidays at Disneyland. Like, regardless of everything, regardless of the food, regardless of the smells, regardless of any of the other offerings, Believe in Holiday Magic is single-handedly the reason why I love Christmas at Disneyland, or the holidays at Disneyland. I mean, there's nothing else to say. That it's an amazing show. And yes, Andrew, like,
it is.
the more that I think about it, the more it's like it's in my head. A season worth sharing, believe in the magic of our lives. Just open up your heart.
Boof.
And I mean, I see a lot of ties, like thematic and like just kind of similar beats with Believe in Holiday Magic and Remember Dreams Come True. They have similar beats, and they both do the things I like. Like, there's a part in both of them where just shoot one color firework up, just like doink 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 doink. They do that with the Tigger in Remember Dreams Come True, and then they do it with the I don't remember which part it is, but in one of the classical, it's like the Nutcracker, one of the Nutcracker songs, dong 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 dong, going up and down, going straight up. It's my favorite thing in any fireworks shows when it does that.
Yeah,
and it's silly.
All right, so quick honorable mentions before we wrap up the podcast. Larry, do you have some that you want to throw out there?
Well, I think Melissa nailed it. Viva Navidad is definitely one that I wanted on my list. That's close to like 4. That one hits on every level. And then you guys have mentioned the fireworks. That was going to be in 5. If we're going any further, then we're talking just about like the festival, the food festival, Cars Lands overlay. Mm-hmm. But the one that I want to get out there that I don't know, like a smaller kind of thing, that is, I like to go see the gingerbread house at Grand Californian. They build a large gingerbread house out there, and that's one of my favorite things to go check out during the holidays too, which they still do. Pretty cool to go check out if you get a chance. And they always have like, I don't know if they've done it this year, I haven't went, but they usually have like the piano vibes in there, and you talk about that log-in, cool, cabin-y vibe of Christmas. You definitely feel it in there at that time.
You just want to get like a mug of hot chocolate and sit there, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Especially when they play piano, like Christmas tunes.
I love it.
I just want to sit, and it's not even like, it's a part of the resort, right? It's not like an attraction, but just sitting there, it's kind of cool. And usually they'll have like one of the chefs or pastry chefs come out and they'll talk about the gingerbread house that they've done, which is pretty cool.
Can I admit and just kind of reveal a secret that I've always secretly wanted to go sit with a piano player, grab a mug of hot chocolate, and just be like, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, and just sit there and sing whatever song that he's playing for like an hour.
They might have.
And then just leave after.
You never know. There's stuff that cast members are pretty magical, and sometimes you never know, they might just let you join in as long as you don't sound like Cat Scratch Fever.
Well, I do.
You might even.
I do.
No, you don't.
So they'll be like,
no,
you know
you
what?
don't.
Kick rocks, dude. You are not part of this. Get out of here.
They bump up the piano. Bum, bum, bum.
It's
Piano
funny.
got loud in here.
But yeah, it's always been like one of my secret desires to just sit there with the piano player and just like start singing.
Lay on top of the piano, right? That's what you want to do with your legs up.
I don't know if I wanted to take it that far yet, but definitely just like with a mug of hot chocolate and just be like, hello everyone, welcome to the Disney Grand California, and it's great to have you here this holiday season. Let's sing a few holiday songs.
Security.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's exactly how it would go down.
Play along.
All right, Mel. Honorable mentions.
So I have 2. One of them definitely is Festival of Holidays. Definitely is. And World of Color. Whenever that comes back. I mean, that show's beautiful. And I missed the little lights on.
Incredicoaster.
Yes. Why was I gonna call it California Screaming? Wow.
Don't
Talk about
worry.
nostalgia. Dang. Yes, on there.
That's funny.
Just keep this in.
That's funny. Andrew, honorable mentions.
Yeah, Larry touched on one of the Cars Land lights for sure. That's always great. Mater's has, they have the Christmas overlay on Mater's, with all the different songs, the Christmas songs. So that's fun. I guess the parade as well. The Christmas parade over at Disneyland is, been running strong. Couple chains up here and the changes up here and there, but yeah, it's still I like the parade, well and good. It's pretty fun. I'm racking my brain on other Christmas stuff because I know there's plenty of it, but it's the New Orleans Square decorations are always good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the big moon and the big party or Mardi Gras like theme.
Yeah, it's like Mardi Gras and it's the holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's lots of fun stuff over there.
That's awesome. Did you happen to see that Jody created a brand new float for Disneyland Paris for Christmas?
No.
Like the
Yeah.
Santa float? It's gorgeous.
It is. It is vibrant. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Jody Daly is he and Kevin Kidney have created some of the most iconic floats and designs for the parks, and they just have this amazing way of, like Mel said, just bringing these vibrant colors to life in a way that a lot of other designers can't. And the float that they recently designed for the Christmas parade over at Disneyland Paris is, I mean, I would love to see that float here or a variation of it as part of our holiday parade here because it's a gorgeous float. So yeah, my honorable mentions, I guess, there's so much that you all said that I think I have to agree with. Cars Land, obviously gorgeous with or without, the holiday overlay. I love when they turn on the lights and everything, when the sun goes down, and it's always a special moment. The Festival of Holidays, definitely one that I want to mention. Viva Navidad was probably going to be my number 4, but I think watching our pals from Fat Cat Swinger have now become this thing that I just love to do during the holidays. And I hope that the day that we go, like we weren't able to get reservations until the first week of January. Like we haven't been actively seeking them. As soon as we got that one, we just kind of left it. And we've been so busy that we didn't continue seeking them for December. So we're going to go the first week of January just before all of the holiday stuff wraps up in the parks. And I'm hoping that the day that we go, Fat Cat Swinger is playing because I feel like if I don't hear them play, like my holiday season won't be 100% complete anymore. I'm just so used to listening to them. The Festival of Holidays and all the foods that you get a chance to eat is always fantastic. But yeah, I guess really if I had to alternate between 3 and 4, Viva Navidad is really special, because we all talk about it, and it's been such a high point of conversation for the last year or two now that representation matters, right? And having that type of representation in the parks, I think, has been a really special moment. And I love the fact that that entire area, is where you can celebrate different cultures and all the different celebrations and festivals that they have. So yeah, Viva Navidad, it's definitely number 4, maybe even number 3 if I could alternate it with the candy canes.
Sure.
If there's any particular things that you love to do during the holidays in the parks, join the conversation over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and of course over on Discord. We'd love to hear what some of your holiday traditions are whenever you head over to the parks, whether it's Disneyland or DCA, or hey, if you're over on the East Coast and you go to Walt Disney World, we'd love to hear some of your traditions over there. Obviously, we're West Coasters, so a lot of what we experience is at Disneyland and California Adventure, so we'd love to hear some of the stuff that goes on over at Walt Disney World. That's it. That is going to wrap it up. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Any other holidays that you celebrate. I know Hanukkah has been over for some time. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. So that's it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, And always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Let your heart be light.
From now on,
Our troubles will be out of sight.
have yourself a merry little Christmas.
You filthy animal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the Podketeers Network.